Fine Music Breakfast with Annabelle Drumm.
And here it is on Friday, the 8th of February. I hope you're enjoying the Fine Music Breakfast today. I'm Annabelle Drumm, and in studio I have with me at the moment Dr. Nicholas Ng. Hello, thank you very much for coming along.
Hello, Annabelle. Thank you for inviting me.
Now, you've got some gorgeous instruments there, but before we get round to those, because I'm so curious about them, they do look lovely. Tell us a little bit more about where you're from. You're working in the Sydney Conservatorium.
Yes.
And you have the Chinese music ensemble there.
That's right. Yes, we have a Chinese ensemble of 30. It varies from semester to semester. And we have various instruments from China, and the students choose an instrument for the whole semester. And
now, these are just the regular students, right?
Yeah, anyone can do it, really.
Yeah.
And in fact, the course is open to students from the main campus, so you can be doing law or
wow,
even business. We've got a few students from that department, and as long as there's credit point room, for your enrollment. And we were open to anyone with musical background or maybe no musical background. And you can choose to take it for up to 6 semesters if you're very interested, in learning the music.
So you have people at different stages. Because it looked like there were about 4 different courses for the music ensemble. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. Do these 4 courses have different groups of kids?
Yes, they're basically 4 basic levels. So Chinese music 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And if you come to us knowing quite a lot about your instrument already, then maybe you might start off on 3.
Right.
And then do 4. But if you're a complete beginner, then we suggest, starting with Chinese music 1
Yeah.
and making your way up to. And
so how many are in your advanced group?
we have some people who've completed what we call shell units, which are Chinese music 5 and 6. So they finished 1, 2, 3, 4 and have started to come back for 5 and 6, and there are about 2 or 3 of those. And then we have about 10 who are probably in the 2 to 3 range category. And then I don't know what this year is going to bring. The start of the year is always really scary for us because we don't know who's enrolling, and people do it at the last minute.
Right.
So
but with your more advanced group, you've got some performance opportunities as well?
Absolutely, yeah. So
what sort of places do you perform?
We've been running for about 3 years now, or 4, and I've taken the advanced students down to Canberra. In fact, I've taken the entire ensemble down to Canberra because I started the ANU Chinese group there about 15 years ago when I was a doctoral student at ANU School of Music, and we did a joint concert with the ANU group, and that was fun. And we have a touring septet and or sextet, depending on who's available, and I've taken them up to the Townsville Moon Festival.
Oh, all over the place. This is wonderful.
Yeah, we played at the casino, which is quite exciting in Townsville. And we're looking for more. We play at festivals too. So we often play at the Sydney Sacred Music Festival. We seem to be a regular kind of act for that festival. So we do that every September.
So it's the old style music, or do you do contemporary music as well?
Oh yeah, we play traditional music, and we commission. Well, we have no money, but I use that word commission very loosely. But we have a new work written for us every semester. So we aim to premiere a new work at the end of year concert, and if we're good enough, halfway through the year, depending on how we go. And often they are students from the con, but we also have students not at Sydney Uni at all. And we also have a connection with Shanghai Conservatory. And so there are 3 pieces we still have to learn, written by some of the composers from Shanghai.
Okay. Now, Lunar New Year is coming up.
Yes.
For the Chinese. So what is that generally about, if people haven't heard what it's about? I mean, we kind of hear on the radio every now and then, Lunar New Year, and we see like red lanterns.
Yeah.
What else is it encompassing?
Yeah, well, it's right now, and it is the start of the new year for people who are from China or Chinese background and all over the world. It is celebrated, and it's a really big festival because in China, at the start of spring, and obviously in China, it's not called Lunar New Year, it's it's just the new year.
Right. That's just to differentiate it for us who have ours at the beginning
that's right.
of
Otherwise
January.
It gets confusing.
It is, yeah. So because I'm trying to remember a little bit that I read about it was sort of the time of cleaning out the house. So like a spring clean, isn't it? And have lots of guests and lots of
guests.
Yeah.
There are things.
Very social time, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it goes back to the time when China was completely agricultural. And that's why spring was a very important time of year, because that's when the snow starts to melt and then you can start,
planting.
Yes, absolutely. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a time when everyone gets together. So kind of like Christmas.
So it's a family thing, getting everyone connected again.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. And
so you're going to be performing. We'll hear a little bit more about the show that you're going to be doing that's coming up. But you've got some beautiful instruments here. So you've got two different instruments. Now, the one that you're showing me here right now, tell me what that's called.
So this is called the erhu. It's spelled ERHU, and it's a 2-stringed fiddle from China. It originally is not Chinese. It was imported from the Middle East. China has an ancient connection with Persia. And
was it the Spice Road kind of thing?
Yeah. So spices and music,
So is it different from the Middle Eastern?
It is now. It's been
now?
a few hundred years since it
imported.
was imported. Yeah. So I have actually a resonator at the bottom, which is where the sound is created.
So it's like a little hexagonal box?
It's a box, a wooden box. It's hollow. And at the front...
Quite small, though.
It's quite small, yeah.
You could fit a few mice in there. I don't know if they'd help with the resonates, though. Would you like to perform it for us? And tell, what are you going to perform for us?
I'm going to play a piece called Liang Xiao. It translates roughly as Beautiful Night. And it's... often played around this time of year, and it's from the classical erhu canon. Everyone has to learn this in a certain grade, So.
Sounds good. Let's have a listen.
Okay.
It's beautiful. It's how old is that piece of music?
This piece was only written in the 1920s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
How does it compare with music from sort of, 100 years or 200 years ago?
Oh, well, it's an interesting question that you ask because 100 or 200 years ago, the music that was played was very much from the folk traditions of China, and the piece I just played for you just then is what we call classical music, and the concept of classical for this instrument anyway only developed over the past past 100 years or so. So
So a
since
lot
the
more
19th
modern
century.
compared to European classical music, where we might talk about classical being, 300 years.
That's right.
Yeah,
Well,
so you have a different term for it.
yeah, different term. Yeah, well, for this instrument anyway, because it was used a lot in folk music, and then it kind of became gentrified. The process of it becoming a classical instrument probably started only in the 19th century.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've got another lovely instrument here as well.
Yes, that's right. I have an instrument here called the hulusi. It's spelled Hulusi.
Hulusi.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. Yeah, and it originally was from the ethnic minorities in the south of China. And so
Which minorities? Where were they from? Well, they're Chinese, but they're minorities. Is that what you mean? Or were they
yeah.
immigrants? Or?
Well, China's actually a very multicultural country. Not many people would probably know that if you haven't travelled there, but there are 55 ethnic groups living in China, and majority are known as Han. And the Han race have left China in big groups and inhabit Australia, America, Canada. But we don't see a lot of the ethnic minorities who are still in China, and there are a lot of tribal people living in the mountains and villages and in the cities too. And they speak a completely different language, and they're different ethnic group. And you might not notice it because there's been a lot of mixing between the groups in the past couple of decades or more than that, centuries even. In fact, the people from the south of China are a mixture of a southern type of ethnicity and the northern, and so it's all a big, melting
pot. Yeah,
I know.
So this one here, now it looks like a woodwind.
Yes,
it's kind of like about the length of a recorder, but it's got two big knobby bits on it, hasn't it?
Yes. So the top part is actually a gourd. It's
a little gourd.
Yeah, it's a mini one. Yeah, and it's been hollowed out.
And there's 3 pipes below, not just one.
3 pipes.
So
that's
the
right.
the two on the outside edges that are shorter, do they just increase the sound?
Well, the middle pipes are fingering, and it's as you say, record is actually very similar. There are 6 finger holes down the front, and then a hole for the thumb at the back.
Tiny holes, tiny
holes.
finger holes. It's
Yeah.
for little hands.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So what does that one? What are you going to play on that one?
So I'm going to play you a piece I've written, and I wrote it for a theatre show called Descendants of the Dragon. And I was asked to create this show for schools, and so I've been taking it around different schools, and also to Parramatta Riverside, which is where we're performing this Sunday.
Yeah, we'll hear more about that once we've had a listen. Let's have a listen to this one then.
Okay.
you. That was so good. I can imagine the school kids loving that. It's a fascinating instrument.
Thank you.
So there's like two rhythms going on, two sounds there as well?
Oh yeah, I have a drone pipe on the side here.
Okay, that's what it is. Lovely. And will that be played at the concert?
Yes.
Coming up? Yay! All right. So let's have a little talk about that. That's this Sunday.
Yes,
at
this Sunday.
3 p.m. at the Riverside Theatres. Have you worked there before?
I have, yes. I played there a couple of times for the Sacred Music Festival, and I'm from the western suburbs, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're familiar with that spot then. That's
Yeah.
good. So this is the title. Is it Gongzi? Is that right?
Gongzi, correct.
Gongzi,
Yeah.
Songs for the Lunar New Year. It's on Sunday
Yeah.
at 3 p.m. and the tickets are from $42, I think, which sounds good. And it's at Riverside Theatres, corner of Church and Market Streets in Parramatta. So you can ring the Riverside Theatres if you want to book a ticket for Gongzi. And have you got all 10 from the group, or are you doing a smaller group?
We have an octet at the moment.
Octet.
And we're also being...
And your soprano.
That's right. We've got the soprano Karina Lee from China. She's amazing. Coloratura, but also folk style, so Chinese folk style singing, because we'll be singing some popular, folk songs that are heard around this time of year. And also a choir known as the Aurora Choralis, a new, extremely professional choir. They're going to be premiering a new work written by an Australian composer based on classical Chinese poetry.
And that's within the same concert?
Within the same concert. So
wow, it's going to be quite a big concert then.
Yeah, we'll have 20 people on the stage.
Fantastic.
So, it's not like a symphony, orchestra event or anything like that.
Oh, that's still big though. We go to lots of concerts that have duos and trios. So that is big. That's a good size.
Thank you.
So we can have, it's not just for Chinese people, it's for anybody who's interested to come along and look at these amazing instruments. And this really fascinating music. And I love the expression on your face, actually. When you play your instrument, you completely forget what you look like. You're just totally focused on the music. Yeah. That there's just this great peace comes over you while you're playing. Do you notice that?
Oh, I think so. I'm sometimes not really there when I'm playing, I think. Yeah.
No. You just allow it to flow through you.
Yes, that's right.
So that sounds really great. I hope you can come along, everybody, if you're listening in. This is Sunday, 3 p.m. at Riverside Theatre, Gongzi, Songs for the Lunar New Year. Thank you, Nicholas, for coming to join us today. It was really wonderful having you here.
Thank you so much, Annabelle.
Great.